Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
I'll tell you later anyway.
Fucking Sasquatch, that was spelling.
No, he doesn't fuck the Sasquatch. He fights a vampire.
Okay, anyway, on that note, hi everybody! Welcome to a special episode. Not a special episode, it's just a normal episode. Welcome to an episode. Welcome to an average episode of Geeky, gentlemen.
No, it's below average because Milan's tired and I got filming tomorrow, so it's a below average episode at best.
I'm not tired.
So basically, just turn it off now.
You can skip this one, it's fine.
No, seriously. I'm Sid Part 2, and joining me today is, of course, Milan Jeftig 1992 and Zazubar. But by the end of the episode, both of them will be dead, because there can be only one! Now, here's the thing.
Here we are!
No, I'm just really hoping...
Free! We're
No,
the
guys.
masters of the universe!
Shut up. I'm just really hoping that Milan's call drops so I can get the opportunity to just make the joke. Yes! The quickening is coming!
The quickening!
So yeah, but anyway, today, everybody, we are going to be discussing the 1980s film Highlander. And I don't know, this film's just been on my radar for a while. It's been years since I watched it, but I felt like talking about it again. Or I just felt like watching it again, and, might as well talk about it because it's certainly relevant today.
Well, I think that what it is it's like the ultimate pop culture cult film. And I think that as people who like to consider ourselves pop culture savvy, I think that it's kind of like a must-watch for us.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose so.
I just want to start with one thing I noticed that kind of drove me crazy, okay?
Sure.
Christopher Lambert, who is the main character, is totally actually immortal. I'm looking at you, Thomas Jane. Because, did you ever see the 2004 Punisher film?
Yeah.
They look exactly the same! It's frightening, I swear to God.
Really?
They're the same person, I swear.
They are. Didn't you guys know that?
The movie is a true story.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do not, seriously. I mean, Christopher Lambert cannot star in a film where a major plot point is that he's been changing his identity for decades.
And then at the end of the movie, he loses his current identity.
And then Thomas Jane just can't show up and expect us not to think this. It's the same person, I swear to God. At first when I was watching it, I had to go on IMDb and look this up. I was watching it, I was like, God damn, that's Thomas Jane. I didn't realize he got into a movie this big that early in his career. Man, he ages gracefully. That's not Thomas Jane, folks.
It's funny because if I might start off, Christopher Lambert's performance shouldn't work. But it does.
Because he's a Frenchman trying to have an Irish accent, and it's
not an Irish accent, you fuck! Scottish!
Who gives a fuck? Literally, you can swim to wherever the fucking island.
Don't ever say that to an Irish or a Scottish person. You will not survive the encounter.
Well, I'm Russian. I guess I have a 50-50 chance.
Speaking of which, with Russian people,
The
Milan,
Krogan.
would you like to tell us about being one of the children that they threw into pits with dogs for entertainment? Because when I heard that line, I was just like, oh, I bet Milan's just reminiscing about his childhood.
Milan just started
you have no
laughing when he
idea.
heard that scene.
Oh, I was, man. The Krogan. He actually comes from... Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, the Krogan, he comes
Milan
from...
constantly needs validation that he's not alone.
Shut up. Basically, the Krogan comes from a pagan era of Russia. And yes, man, the whole throwing kids into, pits with, rabid dogs, it's a long tradition in Russian culture. I mean, that's how you pass, it's like trial by fire. If you manage to kill the dog in the pit when you're like 1 year old, then they keep you. and if you die, they basically just let the dog have you. It's amazing. Like I remember when I was a little kid, like my mom my mom and dad would just dig this pit in the back of the yard, and basically just go find this homeless dog or wolf or something and just throw it in there, and basically just like keep the dog down there for a month or so, just hungry, feeding it scraps and beating it constantly to get it angry and evil. And basically one day they said, "Hey Milan, come up to the edge," and then my dad just kicked me into the hole.
It was like 300.
And then yeah, basically like that, and it's just me and the dog.
This is Russia.
Shut up. Basically it was just me and the dog there. And it was a long, arduous battle, but I killed the fucking thing with my bare hands, and then I ate it.
What did it taste like?
Chicken.
No, you should.
And his father was, of course, disappointed because, like a smart man, he bet on the dog.
Yes.
No, Milana.
So Milan crawled out of the pit,
Wait, I must say this joke. Hang on, Milana. It would have been funnier if you would have said, when I was like, "What did it taste like?" You'd have been like, "Victory."
It did taste a little bit of victory.
And he just looks up, and his father, his face is covered in blood, and he's just like, "Take that, old man."
No,
his
and
dad's
then
like, "I'm a child, you cost me money," and slaps him.
Even though he's just survived this like humongous bout with this fucking ravenous dog, he's still just like angry at him. Anyway, so if we make it serious for just one moment here, the one thing that I noticed was like Christopher Lambert, his performance, as I said like a couple minutes ago, it really shouldn't work the way that it does, because it's very, very dry, I feel. And he doesn't give Connor McLeod much of like, he doesn't really give him a definitive personality. He gives him a definitive problem he encounters, and he gives him a definitive ambiance about him whenever you see him walking or whatever he's doing or fighting. But he never really gives him a personality through his performance. And it should be a criticism, but it strangely worked for me. I wasn't sitting there going, "Oh my god, this guy's such a bad actor because he can't give this guy a personality." I was like, it works for this role. And I think part of it is like, Connor spends most of the movie either extremely depressed or having flashbacks.
I disagree. I like the movie, and Connor.
I'm not saying
like
it's wrong, I'm just making an observation.
Yeah, but the thing is, I really like the way they incorporate flashbacks. I think this is one of the only movies that actually use, flashback storytelling, and it works because.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
And but I want to talk about the Korgan. The fucking Korgan is just such an insane fucking beast of a man, and he's such a fucking badass villain. And did Terminator come out, before this or after this?
Yeah, that was 80. I think that was 81. So
okay,
yeah.
but
Speaking of which, I did not realize Clancy Brown was that fucking big. That's the guy that voices Lex Luthor, by the way.
Really?
Wait, the Krogan?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's Clancy fucking Brown.
Oh, okay.
I did not realize he was that damn big. And the weird thing is, after his throat gets cut, he totally sounds like Kevin Michael Richardson. I just, there were so many things in this movie where I was like, holy shit, is that this person? And then I found out it was somebody else.
Oh man, just that the movies from the 80s, they're so incredibly memorable because it just has
there
these
is something
huge.
intrinsically 80s about this movie, and I'm not.
Oh, indeed. I think part of it is definitely fucking Queen. I mean,
Oh my god.
their music just creates this amazing ambiance for this movie. I think that Highlander, for me, its strongest aspect was its atmosphere, because
and its
it
fucking
was just
score.
Yeah, that too. And I think that those go hand in hand. It was just so incredibly 80s, but also incredibly epic and compelling. And I think that was the strongest force of the movie that really kept me engaged, and I was at no point watching this movie bored. And I think that was the major thing I enjoyed about it. And I'll say this, it was not a great movie, but I did really enjoy it, but I have a lot of problems with it. But
I mean, yeah, it's got issues, but there's some really cool things in it. Just to pick
Yeah.
out, like, I guess this is a nitpick, but it's still kind of really annoying to me. So, Sean motherfucking Connery's in this.
He is.
And Sean motherfucking Connery is very obviously a Scotsman. He has a very Scottish voice. And he shows up in this movie, and he's in the court of Spain, which is fine. That makes perfect sense that he's been alive for centuries, and he's now a member of the court of Spain. But then they're talking briefly, and he says, "I thought you told me you were from Spain." He says, "No, I'm from Egypt." Now, Sean Connery damn sure ain't from Spain, but he damn sure ain't from Egypt.
Oh man, don't you know? Like Egypt is full of fucking
Scotsman.
lily. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the problem with it is that I think that he might be lying, because I think he is Scottish, because there's a line where Krogan is about to kill him and he goes, "Well, my country did wonders for your voice."
No, my cut did wonders for your voice.
Yeah.
Like
he
the
said
c-
cut.
yeah, my cut. Yeah.
Cut his throat.
Oh!
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just,
okay.
there's so much, like, if you're going to try to explain that Sean Connery isn't from Spain, pick a better country for a Scottish accent than fucking Egypt.
Well,
You
it's
know-
also really awkward because he's in Scotland whenever he's on screen.
Yeah.
It's
I
bizarre.
don't get it at all.
You
It's
know-
such a bizarre premise.
It
You
is
know, I
really
don't
bizarre.
care. I don't care because it's Sean
I do.
Connery. It's Sean Connery in a cape of fucking peacock feathers.
Milan,
Wielding
just because
a-
you
I'm
don't
sorry.
just because you like something doesn't mean it doesn't have problems.
I
It's
know, I
sir,
know,
This is
but
my issue with
I-
Milan.
Shut up!
Hang
let me
on,
talk.
let me say
Let me
this.
talk. Goddamn
Let me
you.
talk. Let me
Let me
shut
talk.
up. Let me say.
You
Let me say.
shut up.
Okay, go ahead.
I will destroy you. Anyway,
I'm just going to shout until you stop talking. No.
I can never stop talking. But basically,
The rest
I
of the video
know-
is just
I
me and
underst-
Milan shouting at each other.
exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Basically, I know there's a problem. Like, oh yeah, obviously Sean Connery isn't Egyptian, but he just kind of
Not gonna lie,
comes.
Sean Connery in a peacock feather cape is pretty amazing.
It
was
is,
awesome.
it
And
is.
didn't in Milan, before you continue, I just want to say this. Me and Ian are making fun of it. It did not ruin the movie. It was just really strange.
It's just it's.
I mean, at least he
bugged
had a
me because
tan.
no, what bugged me about it is they try to explain it, but their explanation is actually worse than him just being in the court of Spain and us not knowing where he originally comes from.
Yeah. And also, he was in Japan, and his background is a mess of accents and ethnicities. But go ahead, Milan.
Yeah, just the thing is with the Krogan, I just can't get over the fucking Krogan, and he just has really great lines, and he's just such a fucking beastly motherfucker. Like one of my two favorite lines is basically when he's in the church and he's talking to the Highlander. That's one of the best movies, like scenes in any movie, because it's just they're just sitting there and the Krogan is just being a fucking badass to nuns. He's like, just this punk ass motherfucker.
Fucking licks the priest.
I
was
know,
weird.
and then he goes, "It's better to." Let me do the voice. It's better to burn out than to fade away. And he's just gonna.
That was awesome. He was
That
such
was
a kick-ass villain.
I got.
Yeah, I mean, he really did. Just every part of him just screamed villain. Like, it was funny. It looked like every other one of these guys, except for, I mean, the first, like, nemesis we see, maybe even him. It looked like every one of these guys took the opportunity to be immortal, to, like, really culture themselves and become very intelligent and well-rounded. I mean, you know, you look at our main character, MacLeod. Here we have this Scottish barbarian, essentially. And he becomes
At least he
this
starts out that way.
well-rounded, high-class antique stealer. He's, you know, talking about wine and everything. He's very intelligent. But you just look at
Insanely
Krogan.
rich.
Yeah, and you just look at Krogan. Milan, say the name for me, please.
The Krogan. It's
Okay,
the
you look at the
Krogan.
Krogan, and he's the same guy. You know, there's no difference between his character when we first see him and his character when we see him at the end of the movie, except he's changed his clothes.
Yeah, I thought
And
that
I
was very...
love that. And I fucking love that because you just first see him and he has like the fucking. He looks like from fucking He-Man. He's like as a skull helmet. He's wielding a giant sword. He's roaring like fucking Gozer. And then at the end, he's
Fuck
like,
He-Man, man.
I don't fuck you. He-Man is badass, but basically, he's just this horrible fucking punk motherfucker. And I love the fact like, you just buy him with the sword because he's such a big motherfucker, and it looks more intimidating with the sword than he would look with a gun, because you just fucking imagine that giant ass fucking leather clad monstrosity raging at you with a fucking like long ass fucking piece of metal. That's fucking scary. But the thing is, another thing is like when he's building the fucking sword, that's another great scene. And then the prostitute comes in and is like, I'm Candy. And he goes like, of course you are. And I love that fucking scene.
Yeah,
Oh.
him building the sword was pretty badass.
That was awesome. When he just takes it out of a suitcase and puts it together. That does bring me to one. Go ahead, Ian.
That was one of the problems I had with the movie. I mean, Clancy Brown and Christopher
Lambert.
Yeah, I should know Lambert, but anyway.
Clancy you made a joke about him in the first 5 minutes of the movie of the show. So.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job, for just normal actors with learning how to like handle swords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brown less so as far as in a fight. But then again, it's a giant-ass bastard sword. There's not a ton of elegance you can have with it when you have to, make sure not to kill somebody else.
Very true.
But yeah, this movie really could have used a bit of better sword fight choreography, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I thought
like
that
the sword choreography.
No, it's very kids with swords. I mean, there's nothing terribly wrong with it, but it's just very basic. Yeah. It's not very elegant. And these guys have been fighting with swords for thousands of years, or hundreds of years rather. They should be better at it.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, I think it's like they do have that, and they do show those kind of really like elegant, like when the main, when the Highlander and Connery are fighting, you see some elegance there. But with the Krogan, you can't really afford any sort of elegance because he's just swinging that fucking thing around like a lunatic.
I disagree. I think it's in every sword scene, and it's always when they're starting. I think that whenever they in that opening scene in the garage, everything about that scene screams badassery. We are just thrown into this action fantasy world of immortals and sword play in the present era, and fucking Christopher Lambert in a motherfucking trench coat. Okay?
Yep.
And fucking Nikes. That
was awesome. I love it when this is why I love David Tennant's costume as the Doctor. It's like it's fucking Converses with a fucking trench coat and a fucking suit. That's fucking awesome. And
can you say fucking like 3 more times, please?
Fucking. It doesn't mean anymore. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Anyway. So that scene screams badass, and this fucking guy in a suit and sunglasses comes out, and they just look at each other, and they just know each other, and then there's just like this awesome standoff, and then they start fighting, and it's awkward. It only stays awkward for a couple of minutes. Once that guy starts flipping off cars and they're jumping on cars, it's pretty awesome. But whenever they're coming at each other with the swords, it's a little bit awkward. And I also think they run away from each other too much. I mean, these guys have to kill each other. It's the Gathering. They have this primal urge to kill each other. And they're running away from each other most of the fight, and when they are fighting, it doesn't have this desperate animalistic urgency that I think it would have.
I think actually it's just the flippy guy who's running away most of the time. Like the Highlander's just trying to chase after him and go, "Come here, you motherfucker!"
No, I know, but
still, there's too much movement away from each other. There's not enough. Like it's, as much as I hate to cite it as a good sword fight, but look at Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, I don't care how much you don't like that movie. That fucking lightsaber duel is amazing.
I mean, these guys, obviously you don't want to have like the same kind of force level jumps and everything.
Oh no.
But at the same time, just those quick, just the act of twirling a sword, the act of keeping momentum with the sword. That's what makes a good sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
When sword is continuing to keep momentum after hitting. That's the problem this movie has, is they hit and then they deflect down and then they wind up and they hit again. There's no momentum kept with the sword. It's just as opposed to ting 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 ting. You know, it should be bouncing off. You should see sparks flying in a great sword fight.
Well, you see sparks here, but it doesn't feel warranted. Like in the first sword fight, you see them hit swords, and there's like this energy that comes off it, and it's kind of awkward because they hit each other so slow, and then the sparks come off, and you're just like, what?
Yep. Like, this is... I think they're remaking or rebooting Highlander.
Yeah, they're doing a straight-up remake, because Highlander's already been rebooted, and it was terrible, so...
Okay, well, in that case, they should just get Thomas Jane to do it. Just because...
Say, you know, let me just give you my little history with Highlander, because as a kid in Moscow, I was so fucking big into Highlander because, you know, there was the movies, there was the cartoon, like, there was fucking, like, I don't care, man. There was the TV series. Like, I remember my parents just, like, my mom and grandmother used to say, "Oh, you are a little Highlander." I was running around like, "I am Highlander. They can only be fun." Like, it's like I was a little kid loving the sword fights and everything. But as a kid, I loved the Highlander stuff, and then I just kind of got out of it, and I just revisiting this movie it just put a giant smile on my face, and I guess that's why I'm so thankful for it. Like, I genuinely think it's still a really good movie, and just rebooting it is just...
Oh, no, it is a really good movie.
It definitely works. It's just, for being a movie built around a couple people coming at each other with swords, the action is not, you know, up to snuff with that, I think.
Yeah, let me just say real quick before we go on, I'm looking at the rumors surrounding the reboot. Ryan Reynolds is rumored to play McLeod.
That's not gonna work. I'm sorry.
It could. He's an okay actor, depending. Watch Buried and talk to me.
Fine. But you're just like, fucking watch Buried and then you can talk to me.
No, I mean, seriously, it's like, anytime someone says Ryan Reynolds isn't a good actor, I'm like,
No,
watch
it's
Buried.
not actor, I don't think he works as a Scotsman.
Well, has he ever played a Scotsman before?
No, but just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't trust fans talking about casting ever since the Joker and Heath Ledger. Because everybody hated that when it was announced.
I don't know.
But anyway, to Bill's point, I mean, I do like this movie a lot. I mean, that's why I picked it, is because I remember really enjoying it. And I enjoy it more now that I'm smart enough and I know a lot of the history that they're talking about in it. But there are some definite problems with it that just seem like such easy fixes. And what's weird about the sword fights having so many significant issues is that this movie is fantastically shot.
The cinematography is amazing.
Oh my god.
Like, there's that opening shot in the wrestling arena, and then there's that pan from the car driving down the bridge toward the end of the movie. Those are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, those are incredible. They have such epic scope to them. And then, like, just to see the swords be kind of awkward B-movie sword fights, it's like, what?
I wouldn't call... Well, I think that they get better as each sword fight progresses, which makes me think they shot them linearly, which is never a good idea.
The thing is with I know the best shot before, you know, I'm sorry that I interrupted you, Bill, but there's this really fucking epic shot where basically it's the reminisce when basically Highlander was, you know, fighting the Nazis, and like you just see like you know, when he first met, he's like his secretary, and then just fucking the glass just explodes and he's like there in the memory, and that's awesome. I just love that shot.
Oh, that was a cool edit. That was cool. Like, oh, we have 3D graphics now.
You know, it's funny because you know, watching this movie, I didn't expect to get a lot of seeing him through the different eras he's been alive, and I think we got enough of it where I was satisfied, because that's the one thing. It's funny, like, you have certain expectations for movies you want to see. That was one that I didn't think we were gonna get. I thought we were gonna get his backstory in Scotland, and then we were just gonna be thrown into the gathering in the present day, and we weren't gonna see any of, well, what the fuck was he doing in between then? And we got a lot of it, and I thought that was excellent.
Honestly, the flashback, one of the flashbacks is probably the best scene in this goddamn movie.
Oh
the duel,
my
Yes.
the
god!
duel
I
was
was about
fucking
to
awesome.
mention that. Oh, I was about to mention that when he's like reminiscing with the African guy on the bridge, and it's like, oh, remember when we were like, in Mozart's time, and you were drunk and you were fucking dueling with this dude for calling his wife a fucking bloated warthog, and then basically he just kept stabbing him and stabbing him, and he just kept coming up,
And the
and then
guy
he's
just gives up. He's just like, fuck this.
and the basically the valet keeps trying to kiss him every time he almost kills him. Like, okay, master, master. Oh, just stop. Just get the fuck away from me. And basically, the fucking Highlander apologizes and walks all fucking drunk. And then the valet comes out with two fucking guns. Shoot him in the back of the head. Shoot him in the back of the head. And then the fucking that guy just shoots his valet because he's tired of him just fucking coming on to him. It's hysterical.
See, that's the thing. It must have been awesome to be one of these guys back when there were duels legal.
Yeah, I know, right?
You
Because they
know?
could just walk up. Yeah, that would have been amazing. But I must say, and this isn't a criticism, this is just something that would have been cool. Highlander fighting Nazis is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And we got a little of it, and that scene is awesome. And sorry, I didn't know what you said, but you are the master race. And he just shoots him. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The fucking MP40.
See, the thing is, I think Highlander would have been much better as a series of movies where we got to see it build up to this movie.
That's why I think it would have
Because
been better as a TV show.
It was a TV show.
Well, maybe. I don't know how good the TV show was. I just would have found it fascinating to watch, like, his life up till that point. I don't know as a TV show, but just the idea of, like, there's so many of these guys, because we never get a number. It'd be awesome if there were just, like, thousands of these guys running around, and his entire life, hundreds of years, you can do it, each movie leads to just one epic-ass fight.
Let me ask you guys this.
Maybe that's just...
Did you think that The Gathering wasn't shown enough?
Yes and no, but there were only 4 of them left.
Here's the thing. I get that Krogan has known for centuries that there is going to come a time where he has to be the only one, and that when he does, he'll have ultimate power. But I thought, and this is just a preconceived notion I had going into it, that it was going to be a lot more, we were going to see a lot more long-time friendships being broken because of The Gathering, and there were some references to it. I didn't think they developed it enough.
Well, no, I mean, we didn't see any friendships get broken because, like, the ones that are friends, it was weird that we didn't get to see them drink together or anything. They just, hi, we're friends.
Yeah, I thought...
You died, next scene.
I thought that was a little bit underdeveloped. I don't know, I thought that the term The Gathering was bizarre because there wasn't a gathering, really, you know what I mean? It was this one guy running around killing people. That's not a gathering, that's an execution.
Well, they all felt drawn to the same place.
What do you mean?
Well, they were all drawn to New York
But
City.
we didn't see them all there.
No, I mean, we know that one guy died in New Jersey, assuming that he was an immortal killed by the Krogan. Yeah, did I say New Jersey?
Yeah, it was Jersey. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so one guy dies in New Jersey. McLeod kills the dude in the parking garage. Then there's McLeod, the black guy, and the Krogan. There are 5 of them left by the point at this movie starts.
There all
are
that was
5. One's killed off screen.
Yeah.
That's all.
What?
Oh, okay. That wasn't made clear.
No.
Yeah, there are only 5 left. That
Yeah,
was
Okay,
dude,
I
I mean,
thought there was a whole
yes.
world of them left.
And Bill, basically, I mean, Ian, they did kind of drink, like the black guy and the Highlander. They were drinking on the bridge,
But
No, I mean,
the
like, just like
conversation.
it seems like there was a scene deleted because it seems like they were supposed to be like talking more about the gathering itself and the Krogan and stuff, and then it's just you die in the next scene, so we better establish that we're friends.
Yeah, and it's also like I thought that it would have been interesting if Connor would have had this, clearer sign of desiring vengeance, because I feel like that's why they would have established that friendship is, okay, we're gonna establish that you like this guy, and then the Krogan's gonna kill him, and then you're gonna go after him. And that's not what happens. It's just we establish that this person exists, that he knows Connor, and then we see him fighting the Krogan in an alley. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then Connor never references him again, and the Krogan moves on.
I think it's just in these people's lives they know that eventually they'll have to kill each other, and it's not like with the guys who are friends, they know like it's not the situation might turn out that they might have to fight each other, but it'll be more.
They likely won't
Yeah, yeah,
have
but yeah,
to.
but the thing with the Krogan is, the Krogan tends to loves fucking killing, and so yeah, everyone was pretty sure the Krogan's gonna get to them and like, hey, I'm gonna kill the Krogan, or I'm gonna kill the Krogan, or the Krogan's gonna kill us. It's just a
No, but
flip
you
of a
still
coin.
want vengeance.
Well, the thing is, I don't think he really, he of course he wants vengeance, but it's just, and like you see that scene in the church, he just fucking hates the Krogan like for everything, and like,
That
and I
was
think
more directly for what happened to Ramirez and Heather, though.
yeah, oh, and
Which I still think makes it strange that they would spend a scene establishing that friendship and then they don't really make reference to it again.
it didn't bother me, but the thing that's seen again, where fucking Krogan says, "Oh, I raped Ramirez's woman," and just fucking Highlander oh, he's so fucking mad, and
The look on
Krogan's
his
like,
face was amazing.
he was, and then Krogan just like, that wasn't Ramirez's woman, that was your woman, and then he just goes, oh, then he's like, oh, why didn't she tell you? Maybe she secretly wanted me to come back and give it to her again. And fucking...
In a church,
And
no
he
less.
doesn't give a fuck what any of these fucking nuns are thinking. He's just like, and he's saying it
like,
so loud. He's just like, I raped her at the top of his lungs.
No. He didn't say I raped her. He said I raped her before his blood was even
That
cold.
was so
and he's
fun.
just sitting there like with his feet up, like I took his head and raped her before his blood was even cold. And he's just like, oh, the little choir boys run away. The priests lead them away. Like everyone just starts walking away, and he just doesn't give a fuck. The Krogan literally does not give a fuck. And if you're immortal, why would you give a fuck?
Very true.
Well, like there's this. You guys remember Sin City? There's this scene during.
I've never seen Sin City.
Marv's-
Don't kill me! No,
Really? Huh. There's this scene during Marv's story where we actually go into one of the other characters who's, we see his story later, Jack's story. We actually go into Jack's head for a moment. I think it's Jack. And he says, Marv's not such a bad guy. He was just bored in the wrong time. He would have been happy 1,000 years ago swinging an axe into some guy's face on a battlefield. And, like, Krogan's just one of those guys. It's like, he was really meant to only exist in his time in history, and it's just, he's just this horrible, like, he doesn't fit into the 21st century at all. He's just, every room he walks into, he makes more prehistoric, It's just, he's such a violent, old world type guy, and he's not changed, he's not refined, not bettered himself at all, and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, and it's, well, the thing is, you gotta look at how he spent that time. He's just gone around killing every other immortal for that entire span of time. And I think that's really, it really it's a good way to emphasize that he was bred for nothing but murder. And again, you compare him to like McLeod, and you compare him to Ramirez, who are these cultured, well-spoken, very, clearly they've used that gift for something worthwhile to better themselves. And as it seems like Connor is going to do once he's won the prize, is better the world via that gift. All the Krogans then be like, hey, I can kill a lot of people now because no one else can kill me.
Well, no, I mean, once he got that power, like assuming that he won the battle, once he had that power, he was planning to take on God next. That was his whole thing. He was just going to kill more. He was going to kill something else, the next challenger, as it were.
Well, it would have been funny if we see an alternate universe where he wins the prize and he's like, I'm not immortal anymore. That would have been hilarious. Where he's just like, fuck.
No, that was McLeod's line. He can die. He can have children. He doesn't. The idea was that he gets to choose if he wants to die now.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought that
The weird
takes it away from you.
Yeah, the thing in the sequel, which is people hate because but I watched the like not too long ago, the remastered edition and re-edited edition, and
Where they're
basically
not aliens.
no, when they're not aliens. I think they're in the future. Like it still doesn't make much sense. Like why did I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really like why is Ramirez still alive and how come they know each other?
See, that's the thing. This was not meant to. Like, you can do prequels to Highlander. This is not meant to have a sequel.
Yeah, it's weird. But you know one more thing. It's so fucking hilarious that fucking medieval woman hair and 80s woman hair are exactly the same.
Haha, yeah.
I mean, literally, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
See, I haven't seen any of the sequel stuff, but I've heard nothing good about it at
No,
all.
I've heard that the only good thing with the name Highlander on it is the movie, the first one, and that everything else is either atrocious or just kind of generic. Like it's funny. I hear all this bad stuff about Highlander 2, Highlander 3, and all like the sci-fi original movie stuff. No one ever talks about the TV show.
Which is actually, let me jump off that. I was telling my mom, hey, I've got to go home. We're recording an episode about Highlander tonight. And she goes, oh, I love that show. I'm like, no, we're talking about the movie. Oh, never seen it. What?
Well, and it's funny because from what I understand, it's basically a straight up sequel, ignoring the actual sequels.
Oh, that's
It's weird
good.
because in the TV show, basically, Highlander dies, he's killed, and he's replaced by another guy. And then how can you call the series
Duncan.
Highlander?
Well,
Yeah,
it's his
Duncan.
cousin.
Oh,
They're related.
Duncan.
So,
That's weird.
so he's still a Highlander.
Huh.
That's why they call him that.
Oh, Duncan!
Actually-
Oh my God, I remember Duncan. Oh my God. I'm getting
Actually,
nostalgia feast.
now that we're getting on the Highlander thing, I think my favorite scene besides the duel in this movie is what happens to him after he recovers from what should have killed him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool.
Like, that was probably one of the best scenes to me because it's such a great character thing, I think. It's just, you really see that these guys are more afraid of people than they let on, you know? Connery talks all this stuff about, you can't die, you're immortal, but that doesn't really help him that much.
Well, it's funny because, it very much so is implied that a lot of these guys see it as more of a curse than they do as a gift, because the biggest thing is, hey, if you fall in love, you're gonna watch that person decay and die while you stay the same.
Oh, that was such a
That
sad...
was so fucking sad and so
Oh my
well
God.
acted by both of them. My only problem with it is that the makeup they put on the actress wasn't very convincing.
Oh yeah, that was
They
terrible.
should have just gave her gray hair.
Well,
that's all. That's
I think the
what they
face
should've
was.
done.
I mean, it's fine. She was mostly shrouded in darkness, so we didn't really get to see much
I
of it.
think
But...
I think it's like the Middle Ages, so you're lucky if you live past your 40s.
Well, no, but they're still trying to show that she's older. I don't really think it
Oh
works
yeah,
that
white
way.
hair,
But,
white hair is fine. But the thing is,
Yeah.
the scene that really made it like the thing when he's being banished, it's like he has this girlfriend and she's like, oh, I'll give you flowers as you go off to battle, and she's the one who screams like,
And
burn
then
him!
just
Burn
wants
him!
him dead. And
Oh
it
my
is
God.
so, like, it's extremely critical of the time period in which it starts out in.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I found that really
that's-
interesting because
Yeah.
it's like, imagine you're this guy, Connor McLeod, and you were born in this era of barbarians and extremely, extremely undying Christianity and superstition and all this stuff, and then you live to see the first nuclear bomb.
That's something that I found that I was kind of angry they didn't really pick up on. Like, it's so weird that he never really talks about history.
Well, I
enough,
mean,
you
they
know?
make reference to it, but I agree with you. It's like, this is a man who has seen the very perspective of a human mind completely change. Nearly unrecognizable. It's almost like we're a different species at this point.
Yeah, the thing.
But the way
is,
society is developed.
Oh yeah, it has been touched on a little bit in this movie, but very
Yeah.
subtly. But there are two of my favorite scenes in the old times. is basically when the priest slits a motherfucker's throat, then fucking crosses himself. That's adorable, and just that scene when he's fucking the black-haired cousin, he just beats the shit out of him when he's like, tied up to that fucking pole on his shoulders, and then the redheaded guy, yeah, and what is his name, like Macintosh, McDonald, what's his name? The redheaded guy.
Oh, fuck.
And
yeah.
the red,
Just
yeah,
McDonald's. Just call him McDonald's.
McDonald's is basically shut up. The redheaded guy is basically
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
No,
the
in the
red
Scottish
guy.
accent. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Okay, shut up. Basically, the redheaded guy, he just like everyone says, burn him, and the redheaded guy is like, no, fucking we'll banish him, and fucking he comes in close and he looks at fucking Highlander and like Han's like, I'll never forgive you, I'll never forget you, man, and the red guy's like nods and just like, oh, that's such a fucking sweet, touching scene between like
Yeah.
fucking family, and he just and then he goes, oh, that's fucking heartbreaking.
Well, you know what else is? It's like,
Speaking of immortality, real quick, like I was talking to you guys about this before we started recording, but yeah, I've been watching Torchwood Miracle Day. To be immortal but still feel pain is kind of a bitch.
and let me ask you guys this: do they make it clear that they do or don't feel pain in this movie?
Oh, they.
I mean, they clearly do. He gets stabbed and he like drops.
Okay, so they do. All right,
several
I was just wondering because I was like, when in that duel, and I know he's drunk, so he wouldn't show it as much, but like he's getting stabbed and he's just like, this is funny.
The thing is, like, when he does stab him,
He was that drunk.
Okay,
Bill.
all right.
oh, dude,
He was so drunk that the boundaries of pain were shattered.
oh my god, the fucking scene.
That's a good drunk. That's a good
Yeah.
drunk.
That's a
Well, I was
great
like, I am always drunk. That is why Russians win wars. They're always drunk.
The guy gets his arm blown off. He's just like, hang on, give me another magazine. I will kill him.
Why magazine? Oh, magazine. Okay, but basically that's.
No,
fucking
yeah, like a gun magazine. Not like,
okay,
give me
okay,
enough
okay.
people. I must get him. He's like, fly on wall. I slapped
just
him.
smack him over the head with a rolled up
And
magazine
he just
to
dies.
I want to see someone kill someone like
No,
that
it'd
now.
just be a parody of the military. Just like, give me another magazine. He hands him a people. He just slaps him on the head really hard. He just drops dead.
death. They just keeps hitting him until his face is like
No,
fucking
dude,
mush.
Bill. That is such an airplane joke. Quick, give me another magazine. Just hands him a people and just like looks at the dude. It's like, serious?
Oh.
Are you fucking with me right now, kid?
Oh my god. But anyway, maybe I should do that. Once try to kill a guy with a roll-up magazine. Actually, I
Yeah,
think
he
I
has
already
to
did
have a
that.
Russian accent. It only works with a Russian accent.
I think I already did that once.
Papa, have you ever killed a man with rolled up magazine? Of course. Did it do that?
This morning.
Oh my god.
I just got back
I
from
did
the
that.
town.
Okay. Anyway, so give me the blood-stained people. Okay, let me read this. Oh my goodness, Angelina Jolie has her tits cut out. That is interesting. Anyway,
We just totally dated.
Current
We
events.
just totally dated this episode.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? She'll be dead.
17th, 2013, by Milan
Oh.
Jeff, 1992.
Oh my god. Basically, that scene where basically, fucking, it's hilarious because he fucking stabs him and everybody sees that and he keeps getting up and the fucking realizes, oh, you missed him, sir. How the fuck? He fucking ran you through.
He
How
did
the
not
fuck-
miss him.
I don't know what it is about that joke, but anytime I'm watching something where someone will not fucking die, I always find that hilarious. It's probably the best part of the Austin Powers movies, Will Ferrell just not dying. They did that in Big Nothing. This guy just would not fucking die. Even in the first Scary Movie, I found it hilarious. I don't know what it is about that joke where the dude will just not die. I just always find that really funny.
Maybe it's your inner sociopath.
It's just like it's almost like Looney Tunes, but like in real life.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's this
I love
scene
the black-
in the Nostalgia Critics movie To Boldly Flee where one of the henchmen just starts stabbing one of the guys, and they start stepping away, and the guy's still alive, and they just keep stabbing him again. And then he gets up again. He's like breathing really hard, walks away, and the guy's just like he starts talking again. He just starts like he really starts stabbing him and stabbing him. This is all off camera, by the way. And then he walks away, and the guy's just like, ugh. Maybe if I'm really quiet, he won't know I'm still alive. And then the guy just like he shrugs, sighs, and then starts stabbing him again, and he finally dies.
I love the black guy, like, you know, the guy who runs the motel, and like the skinny white guy, and there's just like a black guy, old black guy sitting there
and
getting
Highlander.
high.
I thought you meant to boldly flame. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, Highlander, and it's just like, I found those like interactions hilarious. Like, stop talking to the customers. Fuck you. It's hilarious. I love old black guys.
Milan ever worked at a hotel? That's how it would be.
I just
So
scream at old
Ian is
black
the
guy.
fucking like the guy at the desk, and Milan's sitting off in the corner, and Ian's just like, "Don't you ever talk to the customers."
No, actually, probably the exact opposite, because Milan would have to have, like, this... Like, Milan's, like, doing this to fill in for his dad or something. I'm just chilling. Because the black guy had a hat on, and I have a hat, so... I have an
Milan has
extensive
a
hat
fez,
collection.
so that makes him immediately
But
cooler.
the black guy was wearing fez. Fezes do not work for seedy motels.
Fezzes
okay?
work in
Shut up,
any
shut up.
context.
Yes, fezzes work for any context, any time, any
They
place.
go if you go to a fucking funeral, you better have a fez on.
Bill, I was about to make that joke.
I did it first,
Mm-mm.
and that makes me
Copyright.
cool with you.
We're in sync, buddy. We're in sync.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to kill you so I can experience...
The quickening!
The quickening!
Oh man, that was funny. We said
Everyone's just taking their headphones out.
they're just like, ow. Fuck
Yes,
the Geeky Gentleman. I'm never watching this show again. Ian just loses all of his subscribers.
I'm okay with that. It's worth it. If we can make one person deaf, it is worth it.
That's fucking terrible. Everyone. Ian is not serious. He's not trying to make you deaf.
Bill, you do not speak.
I do when you are threatening the viewership of our show.
Oh, but dude, that's the most. Dude, that's how much I love you. When he does this, when he threatens to deafen our viewership.
No, when he
that is
threatens to hurt the viewers, Milan is
Yes.
like, God, I want to make out with him.
No, not in that way. In a platonic brotherhood type of way. Like when Eden threatens little children and our viewership, I just like you and me are the same. Thank you.
I really hope there are no little children watching this show. If you are, what the fuck is wrong with your parents?
Oh no. We are, dude. We are
The dad's
educated,
like
dude.
sitting in the
We
room. No, the dad's Bill. The dad's just sitting in the room listening to it with him, and he's like, "Well, fuck your show then, and you're the one that lost us subscribers."
Oh,
We
dude,
lose
dude,
one father. Yes, sorry.
Dude, you know what?
As opposed to our entire viewership who you were trying to physically harm.
Oh my god.
Well, no. You know what? Actually, we get like twice or 3 times the number of views we actually get because this is a family program and everybody turns it on and sits around the computer listening to
Oh
us
yeah,
go.
totally. We are, dude. We are the instigators of the second generations. We do. We're the.
It's like the fireside chat with FDR. Just
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the fireside chat with the Geeky Gentleman. So,
We are
Ian, would you give us a state of the
shut up.
union, please?
We are responsible for the mental development of the future generation.
That was way less funny than the joke I was gonna make.
I highly doubt it.
Ian, give us the State of the Union.
Okay, Obama's in multiple scandals right now that are kind of blowing up in everybody's face, and there's just this giant finger-pointing game going on in Washington that seems to be escalating to the point of farce. I'm honestly beginning to suspect that Neil Simon's writing the current climate in Washington. See, that joke is funny if you have culture.
Hold on, he just fucking insulted us, man. Are you gonna take that?
Oh,
Yeah,
I got that joke.
let's
I
see,
got
what
that.
else? What else?
I got that joke. I just.
North Korea is slowly backing off some of their threats, but that's just because we gave them food. There's
Ian,
a
how
couple
about
other
the
things,
state
but I've
of
been...
pop culture?
Okay. Angelina Jolie went through massive breast surgery to remove tissue so she's not at risk for breast cancer. Not a ton else is going on, at least nothing I've heard. I've been kind of out of the news loop. This is one of the few times that I'm out of the news loop because I've been listening to a book lately.
Which book is this?
The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh god, that one. Say, you know,
it's so good, but so
you know,
sad.
those kids wouldn't have the problems they had if they were immortals.
No, actually that's something that it was in Return of Bruce Wayne when Bruce Wayne was in the Old West. Because Vandal Savage kind of became the villain of that book because he was in every issue. Vandal Savage in the Old West version, or in the Old West time period, he he had kidney stones and stomach cancer, and he was just waiting for it to die, because ain't shit he could do about it.
No, wait, was in that book,
He's-
because I haven't read it yet, was Bruce Wayne concerned with fucking up time?
No, his brain wasn't quite working right.
Oh.
He became more like himself. He became more aware the longer, or the closer he got to the present. But it took a while.
Okay. So
Kind of-
caveman Bruce Wayne was literally just like, me, caveman, you, dinosaur.
No, he had kind of flashes. Like, he was able to draw the symbols for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, but he didn't know what they were. And he was subconsciously leaving clues to find him. And, like, he was able to speak with the caveman, but he was using words that they didn't quite understand. It was really
The
interesting.
weird thing, was he in America like during the caveman times?
He was actually the cave he's in, it was Gotham.
Wait, how is that possible?
It was
There weren't
the
cavemen in America.
The,
It was the cave that eventually became the Batcave.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Starts out.
There weren't
the
any
white.
cavemen in
Whoa. It's the problem is not that they were cavemen. I'm sure they were cavemen. The thing is, why were they white? Why weren't they Native American?
Because Neanderthals. What do you mean? Why were they white?
They were white guys.
Well, yeah.
Dude, there were white Indians.
Well, yeah, Caucasian,
You don't understand this. It took hundreds of years for the pigment in their skin to become the quote-unquote red color that we associate with Indians. The Native Americans were descendant from the people that walked across the Russian ice bridge, and they were very, very Caucasian.
Right,
Because they were damn near offshoots of Neanderthals.
Right, but then that means that I never thought there were cavemen in America before they crossed that land bridge. Like there were no hominids in America before they crossed that land bridge.
You're right. Bill, you're right. There weren't.
So fuck Grant Morrison, man.
No. What I'm saying is they were the generations right off the bat of the land bridge. crossing. The
So
only
they're not
thing-
legit like cavemen.
No, the only thing that doesn't make... Well, I mean, yes and no. The only thing that doesn't make sense is why Vandal Savage was there.
Because he's Vandal Savage. He's fucking immortal. It can be.
No, the Vandal Savage... The Caveman Savage shouldn't have been there because motherfucker was in Europe for most of his life. But anyway, actually, let's use this to get back to the immortality. How well do you think they handled the idea of being immortal?
Very well. I thought it was
Very well.
See, I liked parts of it. I like that they mentioned the idea of, creating fake identities to be able to keep your property and stuff. And it was cool that he kind of had a daughter, because, like, he mentions that when he was talking to Connery, that he wants to have children, but Connery tells him that we can't have kids. So he kind of, like, adopts that girl that he saved.
And she becomes his, like, he basically becomes his, like, old lady secretary. And that's kind of...
Well, yeah. I mean, your dad gave you a job.
Yeah, he did, kind of.
No, so, I mean, I like that. There are just a couple other things that I was like, I wish they'd gone more into it. Or I wish they'd spent less time on this stupid, like... Alright, I'm going to use this to transition to my biggest problem with the movie. I wish they'd spent more time like talking about showing interesting things about immortality, as opposed to creating a very annoying, very plot-holy subplot with the crime scene, or the forensic reporter, the forensic cop, and the police department and the police investigation, because it's a gigantic plot hole in the movie. It doesn't make any damn sense. Alright, so they arrest a guy racing out of a crime scene.
Right.
And they don't have anything to charge him with. He later returns to the scene of the crime to retrieve his sword, which he tucked up above in a lighting fixture. What kind of police with any level of competency, what kind of police department with any level of competency doesn't search the entire parking garage for a fucking murder weapon?
New York. Yeah, dude, the New York police during the 80s, they didn't give a fuck.
That's not okay. It's a giant plot hole. Like, they pick up the one sword, and they go, well, this is the murder weapon. Never mind, it doesn't have any fucking blood on it. It's just like, dude, sword. It's right up there. He just ditches the sword up in that little, like, caged thingy up above his head in the very beginning before he leaves the garage.
I didn't even notice that, but that is definitely a problem. I mean,
and like they don't look for it at all. They find the first sword. It's like, oh well, I guess this was the one, even though it doesn't have his fingerprints or any blood on it. We maybe shouldn't keep looking around this fucking place or notice that there are obvious signs there was a fucking sword fight.
Well, I don't know. I didn't think that was a problem, only because I don't know, just the way they wanted the plot to progress. I forgave it for this reason. As someone who's currently making a movie, I had this as a movie. Okay, here's the thing. I'm having this weird thing with movies now. As someone who's in the midst of making one, I see something that probably would have bothered me about 3 months ago, and then I think about it for a while, and I'm like, wow, if I were making this movie, I would have done the exact same thing. And that's one of them where I was like, okay, so Connor sticks this sword up there, and he goes outside, and he gets arrested by the cops. But one thing they make poignant is that they don't find any weapons on him, so they can't charge him with shit. So when he gets into that scene, into that fight with the cop, and he wants to leave, he can, because they have nothing to hold on him. Though, I mean, he punched a cop, that's kind of battery, but whatever. You know,
they definitely could have charged him for fleeing the scene of a murder and resisting arrest.
I don't know, more of assaulting a police officer, but
Well, the police officer did call him a fag.
Well, I mean, he was definitely provoking him, but if you're a cop and you're...
No, but guys, before that, I mean, the officer's putting cuffs on him, and he, like, shoves the guy off him. That's resisting arrest.
Fair enough, but I'm just saying, if you want that plot to happen, you can't have them find the sword then.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you shouldn't have even introduced the cops, and the only reason they introduced the cops is to introduce the forensic girl so that he has a love interest.
Fair. That's definitely fair. But if you want that to happen, I don't see a way around it.
And what's more so is like, okay, fine, introduce the love interest, then leave the cops out of it. But no, they keep showing up for no damn reason. Did
you guys feel, Ian, you're clearly showing this, but I want to ask Milan, did you feel it was kind of pointless to have that whole stuff with the cops going on and this kind of public consciousness of this gathering, or would you thought it would have been better off if they would have just focused on the culture of the Immortals and their situation?
The thing is, if they did the cup thing a little bit better and basically just, actually fucking made it make sense, because they just fucking, oh my god.
Well, like, the biggest problem with it is they don't even resolve it. The last time we see the police investigation is when they're questioning the Vietnam wacko.
Yeah, that plot definitely kind of stopped as soon as Connor and, what's that guy's name again? The big Russian dude? The Krogan. The Krogan were in their last, basically once the third act is winding up, that's when the plot with the cops kind of stops, because, oh shit, now we got to start focusing on this fight. And it's funny because for the most part the movie was doing a really good job of juggling its different plots with the constant flashbacks in addition to the present day stuff with The Gathering. It was doing a fairly good job of balancing those.
Yeah, because like this movie has 3 plots. You get the Gathering, you get the flashbacks, and you get his origin and a couple other little flashbacks, and then you get the cop plot line, and it resolves 2 of those, and it just forgets about the other one.
Well, it doesn't forget about the other one. It just says, "Oh yeah." I think the screenwriter, again, as someone in the midst of making a movie, this was the thought I had. I was like, all right, this guy was sitting in his room writing the script, realized that was a problem, and said, "Fuck it, it's not important," and just kept writing. I still think it's a problem. But it's like I kind of sympathize with him on a level like this.
I guess I'm not. It's not. It doesn't destroy the movie by any means. It's something that bugs the crap out of me because there's so many more interesting things than this fucking cop running around not doing.
Well, the problem is it's not even a cop. It's a couple of cops who get no personality aside from one being old and fat.
Yep.
And I think if it would have been one hard-ass cop doing all the investigating, and then he plays a large role in the final fight, that would have been cool. Or
yeah, that's the thing is like the cop subplot line should have been the romantic interest plot entirely. Yeah. It shouldn't have even involved the other detectives except as like a supporting cast kind of thing. And that's what should have led her to become worth grabbing and worth being part of the thing at the end. But no, it's just he randomly goes, "Hey, baby, I'm immortal. Stab me." Now we're gonna have sex.
Well, the thing is, and that sex scene was fucking weird.
No, it's so out of nowhere. It's like it's just there's no romantic interest between them at all.
Not at all.
Until that point.
You know
dude, it was the 80s.
You know what was strangely reminded of? It felt the same way as the relationship between Grace and the Doctor in the '96 movie. It felt kind of random to me.
Fair enough, but since like you, me, and Deadpool Zilla are the only people that have seen that.
Very true. Anyway, I just want to say that because that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, this feels about as random as that, and that was fucking random. But yeah, I mean, it was just like I think that she would have been way better off if she was a forensic specialist. Like she's the only one who shows any interest in the case. I don't know. Like maybe other cops are just like, oh, you know, it's just random manslaughter. I don't know, just that kind of stuff.
That's the thing, is just this entire cop thing is completely there just to get her in the movie, just to give him a romantic interest, just to give the Kroger.
That's a gay porn name, the Kroger.
No, the
Hello,
Kroger.
Everybody, I am the Kroger.
The Kroger did win, and he created a multi-national, multi-million-dollar company that sells groceries. The evil bastard. Anyway, the thing is, the cop subplot is just there to introduce the girl, and she's just there to give him a romantic interest, and the romantic interest is just there just to give the Krogan someone to threaten. And the thing is, usually you have your villain kidnap your lead female because you need to give a reason for the guys to fight.
Oh, but they had plenty of
reasons. But they already have a good reason.
They got a couple good reasons, and the one I mentioned earlier that I thought should have been brought up more, motherfucker killed his best friend. So, just saying.
Yeah, it's just like this movie's really cool, but I am actually really interested to see the remake because it really has a lot of potential that I don't think they really understood.
I completely agree. I think that this movie definitely needs a remake, but it needs a remake with a really smart writer and director.
Yeah. I really wish if they can recreate the same kind of insanely gritty 80s tone, that would be great. But I know they're just going to have, like, you know, dubstep and fucking flashing lights and just, ugh.
I think it'd be great if Queen could come back for the score.
Oh yeah.
Or they could just use...
Or if they just use the original Queen score.
Yeah,
that'd be
definitely.
badass.
But you know what? They'll probably just make a brief reference to it.
Look in the comments, please.
Comments.
Okay. Probably the chat box.
The text. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a really great remake can be made out of this. And it's funny because, The internet reviewer Spoonie is a really big Highlander fan, but he makes it very clear that the only piece of Highlander lore, so to speak, worth watching is fucking the original movie, and everything else either sucks or isn't really worth watching. And I think that that's a testament to, we need like IDW. If the remake sucks, then IDW needs to come along, get the rights to Highlander, and just turn it into a kick-ass comic book. If the remake either doesn't take off or it stays in development hell for a few more years, because I think that could be awesome. Imagine a Highlander really kick-ass ongoing.
Once the movie comes out, and if it ever comes out, I think if we can petition to have it done, or if Dark Horse or Top Cow or whatever, or IDW, I'm sure that someone's gonna do it, because fucking Highlander.
Well, yeah, actually, Milan, I think Dark Horse would actually be a better house for it, because they're a lot better with ongoing series with movies and stuff. I mean, IDW is awesome, but they seem to be a lot more willing to do mini-series based on that kind of stuff and crossovers. Like, their Godzilla stuff is great, but it's a lot more a series of mini-series than it is one long ongoing. Although this current story arc is not really like that, but most of it's like that.
Fair enough. I don't know. I'm really interested to see a sequel to this, just because there's a lot of really good ideas here, and they've seen what can happen when you do this shit badly. And they know, I think by now they have a good understanding of what worked about this movie and what didn't. And I'm really interested to see them develop that and do something.
And with better sword fighting, please.
And actually, this is something interesting to bring up about the tentative reboot, remake, what have you. This is a movie that needs very, very little CG.
No, yeah, and that's a good thing, I think.
So, like, it'd be really good because they can mainly focus on the script. They can really work on their fight choreography. And, I didn't hate the CG, the quickening's full effect to make him a god in the toward the end of the movie there.
That was awesome, but it was also really weird.
Am I the only one that saw the wires?
I saw the wires too.
I didn't see the wires.
Yeah, well, I only saw them in one shot, but it was really obvious. Like, you could see it. And
it's on that close-up, right?
Yeah.
On that
I could see the wires, too. But it's also because, like, okay, so let's spell out what the prize is for people who either haven't seen the movie or had the same thing I did, where they had to think about it for a long time to kind of figure out what exactly the prize was. All right, so he cuts off the last immortal's head, and that's the Krogan. And all of a sudden, he starts floating in the air, and the quickening has happened throughout the whole movie, so we know what it looks like. But this is it times fucking 10. Like, all this shit flies out of the Krogan, because the Krogan has every other energy of all the other immortals inside of him. And it all goes into Connor. And, so Connor just gets absorbed by all this energy. And this energy morphs into, like, these fucking monstrous shapes that kind of look like the monster from the Forbidden Planet. And for all sci-fi nerds who got that, I salute you. All this energy goes into him. And it's all these monstrous shapes and this, like, terrifying, like, light show. And then the energy turns out to be, or then the prize turns out to be, you have the ability to read the minds of everybody on the planet, and you can choose to die and choose to have children. That was weird to me.
Well, not just that. That was part of it. He can influence decisions that people make as well. Yeah. The thing is, he basically became God.
Yes.
Is the thing. He has the powers. He's kind of like always omnipresent. There's the word I wanted. He's got that omnipresence. Is basically the power that he gets, and a couple other goodies, obviously.
Force lightning. The ability
Force
to grow
lightning.
your dick to whatever size you want.
Best superpower ever.
Agreed.
He's just fucking around, and he can't walk straight because it's like banging against his leg. And they're just like, what the hell's wrong with you? I grew my dick to 5 feet 4.
Oh, once again on Geeky Gentlemen, I have infected you, and now you're talking about big dicks.
No, that's not your fault.
Congratulations.
That's Kevin Smith's fault.
My dick is bigger than yours. My dick is bigger than yours.
What? I highly doubt that.
Oh, you haven't heard that song? It's from the Harold and Kumar movie. It cracked me the
Which
fuck
one?
up. It's such the escape.
Oh,
from
okay.
Guantanamo
Yeah,
Bay.
I
It's-
probably.
It's so incredibly random and has no purpose whatsoever. It's just like, my dick, large like the Chargers. Your dick, it's just a big slam up. I think my favorite line is, my dick is like supersized. Your dick looks like 2 fries.
So basically, it's a song written by every teenage boy with penis issues.
I saw that movie
Pretty-
at the perfect time in my life because I saw that movie one summer where me and my friends were obsessed with dick jokes. So, and like sex jokes. So that movie was like, that movie was like, hey, teenage Billy Wurster, and I'm like, yeah, I have a movie for you. It's called Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. And I'm like, really? And then the omniscient guy is just like, yeah, here it is. And then I went home and I watched it and I fell in love with it.
Cool. Anyway, so yeah, any final thoughts on Highlander?
I really liked it, and I'd love to see a comic book done. Me being a big, childhood Highlander fan, I'd love to see a comic book done of it, but a good one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a really good house for it. Let me say this. I really enjoyed it. No, again, as I said earlier, no part of it was boring. It is extremely entertaining and badass. And I'll say this. I think that if you're someone who considers themselves a part of like the pop culture phenomena on the internet that's going on right now, or if you're just interested in the cult status of certain movies, it is definitely worth watching. And if you're also someone who loves 80s action movies, fucking watch this movie, man, because Queen's score, the ambiance of it, the fucking effects, it's all so 80s, and it's awesome.
It's a good 80s sugary load right in your face, and you're
I agree with that. It is like, yeah.
Okay, so let's do a score real quick. I'm gonna go with a 3.75 swords out of 5.
So fucking specific.
Well, like, the thing is, I want to say 4, but there are too many problems with 4, but it's not problematic enough for a 3.5. So it's a 3.75 out of 5 swords.
For me, it's a it's.
Now Milan's just gonna look at something randomly in his room.
I give it
it's
10 out of 5.
No. I'm gonna tie it
Superman
in.
comics.
Shut up.
No, I'm waiting for the day when Milan's like looking at random items in his room. He's gonna establish that he just looks for random things in his room, and then he's just gonna throw in, and I give it 5 plastic dildos out of 5. I mean manly objects.
I mean fleshlights.
Shut up. I am gonna tie this into the movies. I give this 4.5 Krogan skull helmets out of 5.
How about you, Bill?
I will give Highlander 4 decapitated heads out of 5.
All right.
Or better
all right.
worded,
So we're all
4 peacock capes out of 5.
Oh, kudos, my friend. I'm impressed. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
guys, I am Bill. I am in your bathroom right now. I'm actually recording this in your bathroom, and I have a giant katana. And I'm gonna, I'm right behind you, by the way.
The fuck are you talking about, man?
Turn around.
That was so random.
Look behind you. I'm behind you.
Anyway,
Oh, are you like gonna try and like take me out because of the gathering?
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
I'm right.
Okay,
Turn around.
not to
Turn
criticize
around.
your joke, but you should have made that much clearer that you were making a Highlander reference because I had no idea why that came up. I don't.
well, I mean, to be fair to Milan, that's kind of your fault. You're just so used to Milan saying creepy things that like you weren't expecting it to be a Highlander reference. I really got that it was a Highlander reference very early on.
Ian, that's just Ian's subtle way of calling me an idiot. He does it a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I don't know. It's interesting that we're all kind of in, we're in a bit of a range of agreement here. I am giving it the lowest score, but I want to give it a higher score. Milan's obviously always overly positive. Milan is never able to take off his rose-tinted glasses. Milan's eyes are actually rose-tinted, everybody.
You know what? You want to know how that happened, right? Basically, my mom signed me up for this, post-Soviet era, experiment program for, it's basically what they did is they basically diluted nostalgia, pure nostalgia and whimsy into a liquid, and they ejected into my eyes. And so whatever I look at, like, no matter how disgusting and wrong and twisted and gritty and sad a situation might be, thanks to these injections in my eyes, it all looks like rainbows and happy clowns, with chainsaws and little sentient doggy balloons running around.
That actually reminds me of probably my favorite scene from 30 Rock. The character Kenneth, who had been a page in the show, an NBC page for years, was finally promoted to script editing, like content supervisor. And then he lost his job because he couldn't be honest enough in it. And he got another job working for NBC Studio still as a janitor, and he was planning to work his way back up again to the corporate world. And he's sitting there, he's still smiling. He's always got this giant smile on his face. And he's talking to Alec Baldwin. And Alec's like, Kenneth, how do you do it? How do you always stay so positive? Well, I'll tell you my secret, sir, but I gotta whisper it. Okay, Kenneth. I lie to myself every day. I wake up and I look in the mirror and I lie to myself. But I can't do it much longer.
The thing is, I'm not like that because I have sustained enough psychological trauma that I just see the world as a happy place. It's no longer lying.
It's just so straight delivery. It's just I lie to myself every day. Anyway, now then,
sir, and you're gonna be first in line.
Yeah. Anyway, Milan, what are we discussing next week?
What we are discussing next week? Well, what we are discussing is what is the best way of collaboration in making a comic book or any sort of entertainment media.
Okay, cool. That should be interesting. So, thank you for listening, folks. I'm the philosopher.
I'm the fanatic.
And I am the madman.
And until next time, we are your Geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing.
There can only be one.
The Quickening!